All right, another update tonight from Walterboro in the murder trial of Alex-Murdaugh. This morning and into the afternoon, it was DNA that was taking the center stage. SLED DNA expert Sarah Zapata took the stand, and she tried to explain her scientific process to the jury of how she tests and identifies DNA using both her expertise and a computer program. Now, it wasn't the most clear testimony for the jury to understand, but she did say the swabs of blood found on Alex' Chevy Suburban steering wheel included both Alex and Maggie's DNA. Defense attorney Philip Barber tried to question her on her research.
And for the steering wheel of the Chevy Suburban, there was a positive human blood test, and I believe you found Maggie and Alex-Murdaugh's DNA on the steering wheel.
For item 56, which was a mixture, was interpreted as a mixture originating from two individuals. Both Margaret and Richard Alexander Murdaugh were included as contributors.
So, yes.
They were included as contributors.
Yes. And is that consistent with someone who has handled Margaret Murdaugh's deceased body, which is unfortunately covered in blood, and then driving the vehicle?
I can't ever tell you exactly how the DNA was deposited onto an item. I can just tell you what the DNA profile is.
And I'm not asking you.
All right, there you heard it. Now, Barber asked Zapata if she was aware that SLED received a report claiming that Murdaugh's shirt was speckled in high-impact blood spatter. She said she didn't know about the report, and that was not her area of expertise.
And our Rachel Ripp now has more highlights of today's testimony.
Today we've been hearing testimony from SLED forensic scientist Sarah Zapata about DNA testing on Alex's clothes, his guns, his Chevy Suburban, and also locations around the dog kennels, like a doorknob near the feed room. Zapata testified that DNA can be affected by surface touched, amount of time held, pressure, personal hygiene habits, and environmental factors like the rain. She testified that DNA can be a single source or multiple source, and that analysis can interpret the number of people involved in a multi-source sample. Zapata told the jury that the DNA results of the left nail clippings of Maggie Murdaugh showed a mix of two individuals, Maggie and Claude C.B. Rowe, but results concerning Rowe are shown not included. In cross-examination, the defense honed in on an unidentified male individual's DNA results in relation to Maggie.
Was there DNA from an unrelated male under her fingernails?
For item 70, yes, one of the alleles indicates a male contributor.
And this was an unrelated male?
Do you mean unrelated as in unrelated?
Well,
like,
let me strike that and rephrase. Were Paul and Alec Murdaugh excluded as contributors?
yes.
Zapata confirms in testimony that the results of testing on over 70 cuttings from larger samples related to crime scene evidence had negative results of blood. Zapata also says swabs from the feed room exterior doorknob were interpreted as Paul's DNA. Zapata testified that the DNA found on Alex's steering wheel was interpreted as a mixture of Alec and Maggie's DNA. She says Paul's DNA was only found at the bottom of Alex's shirt. Reporting in Walterboro, Rachel Ripp, News 19, WLTX.